Welcome to those of you who have joined early. Thank you very much for being a couple of minutes early. And this is your 2-minute warning to make sure you have everything in front of you, pen, paper, notes, just to take a note of all the great information we're about to share with you around financial services. So hang tight, we'll be with you in just a couple of minutes. So once again, thanks to everybody who's joined a minute or two early. Grab your seats. We'll be starting in just over 1 minute's time. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to our third in the series of Hub in a Hybrid World webinars, where today we are going to be talking about financial services and specifically how Hub is making some real differences into this sector itself. So thanks for joining today. I'm going to introduce some colleagues throughout this session. And first of all, what I'd like to do is share with you a little video that dropped on LinkedIn today. And that's a video that is specific to financial services, financial sector, and giving some actual use cases on how we've seen Hub working in these environments. So let me share this video with you now, and then we're going to deep dive into some more information for you. Okay, so I'm going to just try that again, because what I didn't do, and at least I remembered this time, I'm not on mute, which is a good thing, but I didn't share the screen audio with you. So let me try that one more time and share this one with you.
Finance teams, banking and insurance organisations have all adapted to a hybrid way of working with colleagues dispersed across branches, working from home or attending customer locations. The Microsoft Surface Hub 2S revolutionises collaboration together with Microsoft Teams and native applications such as Power BI, multiple pieces of
Okay. Okay, so it appears my bandwidth isn't going to allow me to do that today. What we will do is we will send the link out into the email that we send post this event. So you will definitely see the video, but believe me, it's worth waiting for. We're obviously building up the anticipation now. So let me first of all hand over to Adam. Adam, you can introduce yourself from Microsoft, and he's going to do the introduction for us. Adam, over to you.
Thanks, Jane. I've done a few presentations before where videos haven't worked, so I feel for you on that one. It's a great video, team. Thank you very much for joining us, as Jane said, for the number 3 in our series of Hub in a Hybrid World. And we are, of course, covering financial services, which you know have gone, like many industries, through a rapid acceleration in terms of hybrid remote working and having to pivot really quickly. From a UK local point of view, we've seen a number of customers already take up Hub and started transitioning, but also just to mention this session is for Western and Central Europe as well. I look after specifically the UK from a product marketing perspective with Hub, and I wanted to say that one of the big barriers we had in the early days of Hub was around security, and with the latest software update we've really addressed those concerns. So I feel like the financial services is a really big opportunity for us to kind of take Hub into that world and show and lead with hybrid working, what that looks like, as we know that there is a number of opportunities to bring collaboration to this sector. And that's pretty much it. We have got an ebook. I've just been reminded, look at my notes. We have got an ebook and a number of other assets that I recommend you using. We'll send them out afterwards as well, including the video, which as Jane's already mentioned. But Jane and the team are going to take you through a number of ways that you can promote, use, and demonstrate the power of the Hub in a hybrid world. Thanks, team.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Adam. So yes, technology is one thing that sometimes trips us up. The other thing is the dog. I do have it in with me today, so apologies if she barks. And the third thing is I have a terrible tendency to talk a lot whilst on mute. So if you hear my colleague Yassine pop up and say, Jane, you're on mute, that's a very good reminder for me, and I often need it. So yeah, look out for that one. A reminder for me, which is put any questions that you have in the live Q&A facility, please. You have got the opportunity to ask questions of myself, of Adam, and of our collaboration specialist Yassine later on in today's webinar. CollabTech is a service-based organisation working with Microsoft to deliver what we hope are some really useful stories for you to take in. Actual use cases, not just made up stories, actual use cases. Because we don't sell hardware, because we support channel partners, we've been involved in thousands of Hub deployments across the world. So our experience, if you like, comes from a variety of those experiences, and we can talk to those today. I just wanted to do some real high level positioning here. We're talking today about the financial services sector, and it is one of the oldest sectors really in our economy, and it delivers a variety of financial services both to commercial and retail customers, and it generates a huge proportion of its revenue from things like loans and mortgages, things we're all probably quite familiar with. But this sector is comprised, of course, of many industries, so banks, investment, wealth management companies, insurance companies. In fact, $26 trillion is generated globally in this industry sector alone. That's huge, and it continues to grow at a 6% annual growth rate. And obviously it's integral to the world's economy here. It's also a very good barometer of an individual country's health. So if you've got a good financial services sector in a country, you've probably got a good global economic health in that country as well. But the financial services sector creates, as you can see there, 7% of the world's GDP, gross domestic product. However, it punches well above its weight here, really, because it only employs 4% of the world's workforce. You know, putting that in another way, the impact of each individual in that financial sector is so high. And their time is obviously very, very valuable. But it's, as it says there, it's a very traditional and very secure sector, incredibly traditional, you might say. And with that becomes it's trusted with all our money. It has to be highly regulated. It's got lots of processes, got lots of regulations. There's a huge amount of compliance around it, and there's a huge amount of audit trails. And again, it's protecting all of our money. So we kind of want that, really. But it's also got a high reliance on the quality of those people working within that sector. So there's a huge focus on keeping people fresh with the latest regulations and the latest compliancy. There's an awful lot of need for ongoing training and testing and checks and balances, really, to ensure that those individuals are given the right advice. So, it's a complicated industry. And the impact of the last 12 months is actually building an awful lot of market pressures here. So the need for secure communications and collaboration has actually never been higher than it is right now. So what a good opportunity for us. And if we look back, probably just 12 months, I jumped ahead a little bit there, just 12 months, and look at the industry from a high level, so not just each individual bank or financial institution, but pre-COVID we saw this industry as like quite a slow, a laggard, if you like, in the terms of need changing technology wise, but it also had to look at the real focus areas of security and compliance were driving the slow to change, but they then became change averse. So they really didn't want to risk any changes to their environment. However, really, now COVID has put that under a huge amount of pressure. There were some other things that are pressuring the traditional established fin services, and that's what they call fintech. So these are let's say the startups or the new types of organisation that has quite a low cost base and is delivering financial services through a variety of technologies. Essentially, these startups are disrupting the traditional incumbents by expanding who can get these financial products, but they're also using technology to cut the operational costs. So all of this pressure, and then combined with the more sophisticated attacks to break through security, is really affecting the compliance requirements. And essentially, if you think about the 2007 crash, this heightened the need for security even more. So the business definitely needs to empower their workers. These need to be digital enabled employees, especially around accessing information. It's never higher than it is now to ensure that employees have the right information at the right time. So where are we now? COVID, as it did with many organisations, it forced a huge and rapid change on the financial services sector. In fact, a material change. But the speed in which this happened, many people in the industry thought not possible. In fact, I recall a conversation with a friend of mine who's a key business owner in this sector. He believed that working from home as an employee in the sector would never, ever happen. But it happened in his company. It was a necessity. But he reflects and he says that this would never have happened because of the change and the risk averseness. They would never have taken that risk, but they have now. And now they've moved to a more dynamic workforce, and they've moved and pivoted. Adam used that phrase earlier, a great phrase for the moment. I'm sure it'll be in the dictionary soon. But now we're working with virtual customers, not coming into the establishment, and we're realigning. We're having to rewrite security and compliance rules, but we've moved from slow and cautious to now real rapid change, where the combining the speed of this change, but the speed to be secure has been vital. So super important we get all that right. Where does that leave us? Well, we're in this hybrid world right now. Will we see the permanent change, or will it be a hybrid of the two with a sort of mixed location type workforce? Well, that's probably more than likely going to happen. We will need to focus on being quick to change and quick to react, and ensuring that we got real-time engagement. But it will be centered around trusted and secure platforms, digital workflow platforms that don't just do one particular application, but sit across the whole workflow platform of the organisation. And anybody who uses those need to be digitally connected at all times to do their jobs, whether it's back office systems or whether it's talking to customers. All of the skills, they'll still need their skills will need to be accredited and ensure that they're up to date with the latest regulations. But no doubt, technology will be the major enabler. Teams as a platform is being adopted in many financial services organisations as their secure multitask operational engine, if you like, in today's hybrid world and the future of the workplace. In fact, it does deliver to the stakeholders this strong collaborative decision-making environment, but it also connects people to the disparate workforce. And one of the functions of Hub in today's hybrid environment we're seeing is a lot of financial sector CEOs using Surface Hub in their home office environment to connect to customers, but connect to their workforce as well. Just as a final sort of summary on this one, I found a quote from Jim Liddy, who is, as you can see there, KPMG chairman of Global Financial Services. In his mind, the number one priority for coming out of COVID, for what's next, is that the financial firms have to look for ways to rapidly accelerate their digital transformation and cloud enablement roadmaps. So improving productivity and enabling technologies, it says there. And he says, you know, look to that new reality. Now, not belittling at all the terrible suffering that, of course, COVID-19 has brought to many parts of the world. But really, he says here, the financial services industry, the transformation will be challenging, but it will also be certainly necessary here. So just to finish then here, he's got some great points, and you know, I really would advise you, if you have companies within the financial services sector, go and have a look at KPMG. They've got some great reports on, you know, what post-COVID is going to look like here. But he does sort of finish off by saying that he believes the financial services market of the future will be largely shaped by those firms who are able to anticipate tomorrow while delivering the priorities of today. Again, probably you can attribute that to any sector at all. But because if you think about what we were looking at earlier, traditionally these organisations have been risk averse and change averse. It's quite unusual for them to make such a technology shift. So that was just from me, just really positioning where we are with this financial services sector and how that looks today. We've got some information we'd like to share with you now on some stories that we've done, some things we've taken part in over the last, well, certainly since 2016 around Hub One, where we worked with Hub One with the 55-inch and the 84-inch. So I'm going to just pass the ball over to Chris McCready. I can see your desktop, but I can't see the video running. Is it running? Can I switch to your desktop? So apologies, everybody. Looks like technology gremlins have got me again. At least the dog hasn't barked. So yeah, okay, lovely. We're just coming to that right now. So
hello, world. My name is Yasin Hayel. I'm a collaboration specialist at CollabTech, and we help people work better together. And welcome to Hub in a Hybrid World. This webinar will take a particular focus at the finance industry. So let's jump straight into
Jane, you might want to start again. I think the audio is lagging.
You will know that, be familiar with, is that time equals. Hello and welcome to Hub in a Hybrid World. My name is Yasin Hayel. I'm a collaboration specialist at CollabTech, and we help people work better together. And welcome to Hub in a Hybrid World. This webinar will take a particular focus finance industry. So let's jump straight into it. Rule number one in finance, as many of you will no doubt be familiar with, is that time equals money. If you save time, it directly correlates to saving money or earning money in some cases. This was, of course, true pre-COVID, but it's become even more true in 2021, where social distancing and streamlining of operations has proven to be a challenge for many organizations around the world. Now, there are many factors to consider when saving time. There are having all the necessary stakeholders and decision makers in the same place. There's having all the resources together and getting everything ready to go, essentially, in a nutshell. Now, where does Surface Hub come into this? The Surface Hub acts as a central all-in-one platform for your collaboration needs, allowing you to have everything within arm's length of where you need to be. You're able to communicate, set up audio-visual communications, and collaborate seamlessly and easily using the Surface Hub. The finance industry is one of the largest sectors in our world today. It starts from many large corporations and trickles down to many small businesses, all of which share some similar challenges. Now, how does Surface Hub actually solve those challenges? The Surface Hub is about three things. It's about dissolving boundaries, it's about mobility, and it's about creating a digital workflow. It's about dissolving boundaries between the physical and the virtual world, allowing digital and analog content to interact together seamlessly, allowing you to superimpose writing over digital documents. It's about mobility because the Surface Hub has virtual mobility as well as physical. The steel stand allows it to be moved around, and the optional APC battery, in addition to that, also means that you won't lose power or connectivity when doing so, allowing you to continue working easily. The digital workflow of the Surface Hub is about giving you all the tools you need at your fingertips so that you can continue in your digital stride without having any interruptions. These three things together are the real staples of the Surface Hub. Ourselves at CollabTech are in a unique position where we only supply through the channel. This means that we've gone on thousands of deployments all around the world and across many different business sectors, in particular the finance sector. What we've done is collate all this information into a very short webinar where we've told you some of our favorite success stories from finance and how people in finance are using Surface Hub to change the way in which they are working. This is so that you can go to your customers in finance and tell them these stories of how Surface Hub has revolutionized the finance industry. So let's jump straight into some examples. Let's take a look at how Surface Hub is being used in finance. In one example, there is a financial advisor that we work with who works with real-time stock market changes. His job is to present investment opportunities back to his clients in a way that they can understand easily and seamlessly. Now, many of us are familiar with how Surface Hub is used in a planned environment. However, in an environment where hours, minutes, and seconds are very important, it is absolutely imperative that the Surface Hub is also used in an ad hoc way. This is exactly what this financial advisor would do. He'd come into his office in the morning and keep an ear to the financial ground, so to speak. He'd have to know exactly what's going on in the stock market and if there's any real changes going on. If he does notice something of interest, he would then use the Surface Hub to quickly initiate a two-way line of communication with his client by simply starting a Microsoft Teams call. The crisp audio-visual facilities of the Surface Hub means that this is always going to be clear depending on your bandwidth, of course. With the Surface Hub, you aren't just limited to audio-visual communications, you're also able to interact with the data that you have, allowing you to dissolve boundaries between analog and digital content, as we mentioned earlier. This client in particular would take a screen grab of what he was looking at on the stock market and import that to the whiteboard. This then allowed him to annotate directly onto the whiteboard with his client so that he can present and explain the investment opportunity easily and seamlessly. He was able to highlight real-time trends with absolute ease. This was also a two-way street because the client was also able to interact directly onto the document, enabling him to ask questions and make comments easily and simply. As you can see, this brought together the three elements of communication that many of us are familiar with, the audio, visual, and interactive element. And this is where the Surface Hub's real strength lies. It's the ability for all three of these things to interact easily and seamlessly. This allowed an excellent level of understanding between the client and the financial advisor, allowing them, facilitating quicker decision making and allowing them to strike while the iron is hot, so to speak. In this case, it actually resulted in direct monetary gain for both the client and the financial advisor because of the speed in which they were able to react. Let's take a look at another example. In this particular example, an insurance claims assessor used the Surface Hub to change the way in which they are working. The company he worked for ordinarily would have many different branches across many different locations, requiring the need for external visits very, very often. They used the Surface Hub to mitigate this by importing content and pictures from their clients and directly superimposing those onto the whiteboard. The dissolving of digital boundaries we spoke of is allowing digital content and analog annotations to interact together seamlessly, allowing them to appraise very quickly what they need to do on the Surface Hub. This also includes things like the site of road traffic accidents, and they're able to actually interview their clients and find out exactly what happened using the Surface Hub. The ease of use that the Surface Hub provides means that this can be done with minimal pain. Now, you won't just isolate it to content that's already on the Surface Hub. This particular insurance claims assessor also used Miracast to bring in content from his own device and allow that to interact with information on the Surface Hub. He would have content on his own Windows device that he would import into the Surface Hub and bring it as part of the digital workflow, easily and seamlessly, by simply taking the screen clipping and pasting that onto the whiteboard. This allowed him to produce a high quality document and high quality insurance assessment claims without leaving the comfort of his house or his office, wherever he may be. Not only do you have the ability with the Surface Hub to use it for the planning stage, but also for the presenting stage, and that's exactly what this insurance auditor did. What he would do is use the OneDrive compatibility of the Surface Hub to open Microsoft PowerPoint files that he'd uploaded to his OneDrive. He would then start a slideshow where he would then present back to all of the different stakeholders as well as the clients the outcome of his insurance claims assessment. The beautiful map display means that you're able to easily see what's going on the screen, and the annotation ability of the Surface Hub means that if further explanation is needed, you can easily and quickly do so. Contributions provided by colleagues as well are able to be added to the plan very quickly and seamlessly, and the Surface Hub even allows you the chance to keep your annotations at the end of those things. These are some features that this particular insurance claims assessor found absolutely invaluable because of the contributions that people were giving to the workflow. Now, the nature of this business means that, of course, security is a massively important thing for them. The Surface Hub being a lockdown device means that when you end the session, you can simply walk away from the device and rest assured that all of your details and data will be wiped. If you are signed into PowerPoint or Word or any of the files, the single sign-ons means any changes you make will be saved into the cloud, so you don't have to worry about having anything deleted as well.
In our final example, an auditing company we work with used the predecessor of the 85-inch Hub 2 seen here, the 84-inch Hub 1. This story in particular really highlighted the power of Hub to present complex data simply. This auditing company used a widescreen display of the 84-inch Hub 1 to examine financial reports, specifically following auditing standards and creating a conclusive assessment of a company's annual report. They used the conferencing facilities of the Hub to meet and collaborate with their colleagues. The widescreen matte display, as well as the HD camera and the crisp audio of the Hub, allowed this auditing company to continue working remotely without disruption. Collaboration whilst video conferencing was another feature they found useful. With the ability to continue your workflow and even multitask, this company benefited from the freedom that the 84-inch Hub gave them. When their workflow required them to examine complex financial records, they were able to use Miracast to wirelessly project from their own device and continue working with their own bespoke software on the Surface Hub, utilizing Inkback and Touchback. Utilizing Whiteboard, an application native to the Hub, they were able to easily and quickly import content and annotate over it. They were able to continue in their digital workflow, all the while making use of the 84-inch Hub's strength in multitasking. As you can see, there is minimal loss in the size of a window when multitasking, when compared to the 50-inch. One of the most useful features of the Hub for this company was the security of it. Having the ability to end the session and walk away, reassured with the knowledge that the hub will wipe itself after every session, was invaluable.
So to summarize, COVID-19 has presented many challenges for organizations, but equally so, it's also provided a lot of inspiration for innovation. The Surface Hub is about dissolving boundaries between the physical and the virtual world, about providing mobility and agility both in the physical and the virtual world as well, and allowing many to continue working in their digital stride by placing everything they need at their fingerprints. The lockdown nature and the security of the Surface Hub allows that you don't have to worry about your data leaking into other places, and many people in finance have most certainly benefited from it. So speak to your customers about the Surface Hub. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Yassine Hayo, Collaboration Specialist.
Oh, nearly. I nearly spoke when I was on mute then. Yes, nearly 1-0, not to me. Thank you, Yassine. Apologies for the gremlins in our system there if there was a lag on the video. I kind of feel as if I want to switch live to Yassine now, just so you actually know that he doesn't talk with a bit of a lag. Yassine, do you want to just give us that first example again?
Yeah, sure, Jane. The gremlins can be a little bit annoying, so I definitely sympathise with you there. Yeah, so for the sake of clarity, I hope you guys can all see my hub, okay? But I'll go through the first scenario that we came from, that we seen ourselves. So as mentioned in the video, ourselves at CollabTech, we've been on many different deployments. We've got the great opportunity to see many different people working using the Surface Hub, and in the financial sector in particular. Just put that on mute. In the financial sector in particular, one customer of ours who is a financial advisor, his job is to kind of have clients and present back investment opportunities to them based on what's going on the stock market. And what he did was he used the Surface Hub to he made it as part of his regular workflow and took advantage of the agility the Surface Hub provided him. So to give you guys an example, what he would do is come in and use the Surface Hub to actually have a look at the financial markets. So I'll have a live view of what's going on the market at any given moment in time. And this allows him, because he's in an industry in particular where hours, minutes, seconds can make a huge difference, it actually allowed him to consistently react as soon as something happened. So if you did find something that was of particular interest that went on in the stock market, you'd simply get straight onto Microsoft Teams. As you know, many of us have seen the ability for you to have planned meetings using the Surface Hub and Microsoft Teams, but not many people are as familiar with the ad hoc usability of the Surface Hub. You can simply walk up to the device, as he did, and type in whoever's name you need to, and that will instantly initiate a line of communication, a direct line of communication between the two of you. I'll end that because I don't want to catch my colleague off guard. Yeah, so this essentially allowed him to not only have a two-way stream of communication with this client, you could also share a screen out so they could see exactly what they wanted to see on the Surface Hub. In the past, that would require an actual physical meeting, that would require you to prepare and have all of the documents together. What you can also do is use the interactivity of the Surface Hub. So you can, what he would do is take screen grabs of the exact bit of information. He would import that then to the whiteboard, and then using the annotation feature on the whiteboard, and it's a beautiful, smooth experience when you are using it, he's able to really highlight the points that he's trying to make to this customer. And this creates a kind of relationship where both client and the financial advisor are both benefiting, because of the fact that the client is able to understand exactly what's being communicated, and the financial advisor is able to provide a high quality service. And the last thing that I want to mention is the interactivity of the Surface Hub. Now, hopefully we can demonstrate this, but the client is also able to annotate directly onto the same whiteboard using the interactive features. And that way you can ask questions, really delve deeper into the information that's being shared. So this is how our customer really made use of Surface Hub to revolutionize and change how he's working. Thank you, Jane.
Yassine, thank you so much. Put you on the spot there and you reacted in style. Thank you. Just showing you there, things can go wrong, but just really wanted to just highlight that first scenario because I think it was super important. And if there was a delay in the audio, apologies, but you'll see it on the email when you can watch back this session. We might even include a non-laggy one on that one as well. You perhaps saw there from Yazin, it wasn't just an explanation, it was a demonstration, and a great live demonstration of what our club specialists can support you with. So again, we don't sell hardware, we only sell through channel. We want to support you through your distribution partner to be able to offer the right service set around both Hub and Microsoft Teams rooms as well. So we've got some questions in. Please continue to post. We've got a couple more minutes at the end of the session. Would love to answer some. We've got some in right now. I'm going to, Yasin, I've got 2 for you so far. So I'm going to ask the first one and pass the mic. And it's something that I think you mentioned in one of your live or your recorded demo, which was, can you explain the difference between Windows Pro and Windows 10 Teams?
Yeah, and this is a question we do come across very often. Essentially, Windows 10 Teams Edition is the default version that's on the Surface Hub. It's a lockdown version of Windows 10, essentially, that's designed to prioritize collaboration and security on the Surface Hub. What's unique about it is that you don't authenticate to Teams Edition. You don't save anything. The hard drive is wiped after every use. When you are using it, in general, people kind of use it in conjunction with the cloud. Windows 10 Professional, which you can also have on the Surface Hub, is the version that you probably know and love of Windows 10. And you can also have that on the Surface Hub, and you can essentially transform your hub to your own personal device. So it'll allow you to like log in, and you can even use the Surface Hub's fingerprint reader to authenticate to that device. Because you're not locked down on Windows 10 Professional on the Surface Hub, it means that you can save files locally. You can do all the things that you're used to doing on your Windows 10 device, provided and open third-party applications and things of that sort.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Yazin. A really comprehensive answer. In fact, I'm just using the Windows 10 Team Edition on here, but I can actually log in, so I can still do some of those things, and it's not a personal device. So, but I can log in and see my meetings. So I seem to have the best of both worlds with that as well. Yazin, I am going to come back to you because we've got another question for you. So assume we're back in the meeting space, assume we're not locked down here in the UK or anywhere else in Europe, and we can actually go into the office space. The question is, can Hub attach, so Microsoft Service Hub, attach to pre-installed microphones and speakers?
Yeah, once again, that is a very common question. So it depends on if there are any additional drivers that do need installing. So it depends on the device, but with many devices nowadays, you don't need to install any drivers. You can simply plug and play if they are Teams compatible. So yeah, the answer is it depends on what exact piece of hardware you are using, but it is possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Yazin. Great information as always. And if you are installing new microphones and speakers into a meeting space, make sure they're Teams certified, so you know they're going to work well with any Microsoft Teams devices. Okay, the next question I'm going to throw over your way, Adam, so be prepared. I have a customer wanting to try Microsoft Service Hub for their meeting spaces. Is there any programs that I can use to get a hub into that on a trial period?
Yeah, great question. We have a number of different ways. Obviously, CollabTech, who are very kindly hosting all of these webinars, a team that can really help us do that and deliver that. We can do it in a number of different ways. We can send a device in, have it set up, have training done on it, literally a full white glove service from CollabTech into any of your businesses or spaces. We can also offer that to home for C-suite execs. We actually did that recently. We had a training session today, so we can either offer a hub solution, and these are on a temporary basis, 4 to 6 weeks, or if the business supports with a hub. Again, what the indication today was a C-suite exec, head of tech in a business, had her business put the hub in. and then we had training done remotely as well. So there's numbers of different ways that we can do it. It's a really good way to get a POC live and get them using Hub and experimenting with it as well.
Wonderful, thank you, Adam. That's a great response, and we would love to help anybody that's got an opportunity to put Hub in just for a short period of time to prove it works. Okay, so one last question, and unless any more come in before I finish, are there any industry best practices for go-to-market around for Hub and Microsoft Teams rooms for finance companies? Wow, what a great question. Microsoft has a huge repository of information, PowerPoint decks, go-to-market. What we've tried to do in Hub in a Hybrid World is concentrate on these 4 vertical sectors of education, manufacturing, financial services, and public sector organisations. So we're trying to help you to create those case studies, user stories, where you can go to your customers with the information. We will be producing some supplementary PowerPoint slides, probably make it online so that you can download them on demand, that talk to the vertical sectors we've talked about. We've got the video that I couldn't play you, but you will get to see it, which talks to the financial services organisations as well. But I probably would ask whoever asked that question to come back to me and tell me what you need, because tell Microsoft what you need, because that is the sort of information that is hugely valuable. If we don't have it already, and it's something that you feel would really help with your work to propose Surface Hub and Microsoft Teams rooms and Teams as that communications and collaboration workflow platform, then we would be delighted to do that. You know, Yassine on the video, just when he gave a live demonstration there, Surface Hub delivers so much to so many organisations in such a simple way. It's a walk up and use group device. It dissolves the physical boundaries, and it's agile. It's agile in the way it works and what applications it works with, but it's also agile because you can put it on a mobile stand and it can be, you know, totally agile. And it also provides that one digital workflow platform when used with Teams. So there's a whole story around Teams and around Hub and around Microsoft Teams rooms and how all of those things are used together. So tell us what you need, and certainly reach out to your local Microsoft representative in country, and we will certainly want to be helping you to get the assets that you need to deliver the great story. So all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for joining us. One more webinar to go in the series, and that's this time next week, well actually 40 minutes earlier, and we're going to talk about public sector organisations. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll send all this information out to you in an email tomorrow, and have the rest of a great day. Thank you so much.